Thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, but a means to have something playing in the background while you work on your own knitting project. If you're like me and really enjoy YouTube, you find that a lot of the content you like to watch is very visually engaging, and you're several hours in watching videos and you haven't gotten nearly as far along in your knitting project as you would have liked to. So that's where I come in. And if you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. Today's episode we're going to talk about the Swoop Beanie, and you'll actually watch me or listen to me knit with this. This is my second time, I think, working on this with you guys, and honestly, it's after midnight right now, Sunday morning, and I have had a heck of a time the last 4 hours just trying to get this video going. I already filmed the whole thing, and I didn't realize that my brand new mic wasn't plugged in all the way. Like, you have to give it a really good push to fully connect it to the jack and the actual mic itself. And I recorded the whole thing, and I went to preview it again, and there was no sound. And then I went downstairs and I was doing some research online to see if there was something I was missing, and other people were having other problems with their mics. I'm like, oh my god, maybe it's just a thing with this Nikon camera. This particular model just does not want to work with mics. And I looked at another person's comment on a different forum from back in like 2013, and they're like, oh, I had this problem and I realized I just didn't plug my mic in all the way. And then I thought, okay, well, mine was surely plugged in all the way. It was not. So I came back up here, fiddled around, did some tests, because the internal mic wasn't picking up either, because the jack itself to the camera was fully plugged in, but there's another little springy cord that connects to the mic itself, and that one was not. So the camera thought there was a mic, but there was, it just wasn't plugged in all the way. And while I was actually knitting with you guys, my stitch marker broke and fell off on the floor. I didn't notice. I didn't know how far I was in, so I stopped that video and then kept knitting until I found a spot that kind of looked like I was in a full round, and then added a new stitch marker here that is a solid plastic ring, so hopefully things go well. It's a 4-round pattern. I need to end on a row 4 before I can start decreasing, but I still have another like 2 inches left of knitting to do before I can actually start my decrease round, because I'm doing it in a slouchy pattern. And I had all of this content with you guys, this whole very intimate conversation, and then when I went to watch the film before I edited, I was like, nobody can hear me at all. So there's that. So the mic itself is actually part of my belated Christmas gift section that my partner got me. 3rd time's a charm is what they say, right? Okay. So my camera died in the middle of the last segment that you saw, and that was because I spent so much time trying to get everything working, and then I realized that, yeah, I think I already told you guys that. So wherever it cut off, I went downstairs, kept knitting a little bit while I waited for the battery to charge, and here we are. It is very late. My partner has settled down to go to bed, and it's like almost 3 in the morning. Be honest with you, I am a night owl. I love to stay up late, I love to sleep in, so it's really not much of a big deal for me, but I did want to get this video out on a Sunday, and I still have to edit and piece together the 2 moments that broke up, so we're just gonna knit a little longer here, but I did want to leave something for you guys, even with all of the snafus we've had this evening. So I'm now on round 3, and I'm supposed to knit 2 and cable 1. And as I mentioned in the earlier part, I did replace the stitch marker that had broken, so hopefully I won't have any more trouble with this one. But it has been a day. It has been a day, and I'm so glad that we're back to normal. I'm glad that my camera, or at least the microphone, actually works. That's nice and new, so we can continue to film with some good audio, hopefully, and we'll see what next weekend brings us. I do have my book club on Sunday, so there won't be any crazy late night filming episodes for us next week, but Saturday should be a normal day, I hope. But we're just going around here. I have my cable needle. But with that, I was thinking of some other questions to ask you guys since, everything's unscripted here. I kind of have a general idea of what I'd like to talk about at each episode, but at the same time, I kind of just wing it and let stuff just spill out of my mouth as it does. And I want to say I had a question. I guess, since it's really early in the morning here, is anybody else a night owl, or are you an early bird, or do you just kind of do what moves you? I have always been a night owl. I remember looking at home movies from when I was a kid, and it'd be 11 o'clock at night, and here I am, baby me, just hanging out with my parents, and they're filming me, and then, the next day rolls around and they want to record something, and I'm still in bed. I remember there was this one video, my dad came in my room to wake me up, and I might have been 1 or so. I was walking and stuff. I couldn't talk yet, and he checks the camera's time, and it's at 10 o'clock or something in the morning, and he's calling my name, he's trying to get me to wake up, and I'm just dead. I'm not moving at all. So he reaches into the crib and just kind of gives me a pat to wake me up, and I'm just seriously? It's so funny, but that's how I am. I've never been one, I see the appeal of people waking up early. My aunt is one of those people who wakes up at 7 o'clock every day, even without an alarm, and my partner's mom and dad wake up really early in the morning every day as well. But I just want to sleep. I want to sleep, and I want to stay up late. And something about staying up late just excites me more. City at night, I love it. Everything about the nightlife is just really fun to me. Doing things late at night, I don't know. Something about that excites me more than being up really early. And I would think when I get older that might change, but I think it's gotten worse. I just stay up for endless hours. However, doing errands, I like to get those done early, or close to closing time when I'm sure everybody's back at home. If I go to Target, I'd rather go 9:30 when I know they close at 10, just so I can run in, get what I need, and not have to deal with any lines or any crazy kids running around and screaming and stuff. Even going grocery shopping, I prefer to do that during the weekday instead of a weekend, so that I can dodge the crowds of people who usually are there on a Saturday or Sunday. I don't know. Woo. Oh yeah. Trying to think, where am I? What am I doing over here? But yeah, so that's me. But let me know, are you a creature of the night, or are you an early bird? And it's so funny, I always think I need to find a job that I like that works the night shift, because I could deal with the night shift. All of my jobs I've had to be there early in the morning, and it's just brutal. Waking up, being chipper, being happy to see people first thing in the morning. I wake up so early that I'm not even hungry for breakfast until 9 or 10, and by then the day, I'm already into my day. So I usually, if I'm at work, I miss breakfast during the week because I just jump in and I'm so busy, and then when I'm hungry it's lunchtime. So it's kind of weird like that. And I remember my uncle, he's retired now, but when he'd go to work, he would actually bring his breakfast to work and eat that for his lunch, because he also had an early shift and he just wasn't hungry for breakfast. When he's up at 5:45 in the morning, he's not hungry. He'll have some coffee or something, but he'll usually eat his lunch around 11 or so, and just have breakfast for lunch, because then he's hungry for lunch and breakfast, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Can't eat too early. And for those of you who watched my last Knitting into the New Year video and I talked about some of the goals I have, not so much resolutions. I have so far eaten veggies at every dinner meal I've had. Breakfast is trickier, but I've had butternuts. I don't know, would you consider butternut squash a veggie? I mean, it's kind of starch, but it's not like pasta. And it was a side, but I had butternut squash. I've had some green beans. I've had, ooh, what else did I eat? Something, oh, cauliflower. I had some cauliflower. What else? No, I went out to dinner not that long ago. Oh my gosh, I can't remember where I went to eat dinner. We had cups. Oh, I did have some. There's this restaurant that has like a rotisserie chicken thing, and I got, it's like known for their rotisserie chickens. And I went there and I had a salad with my meal. It was kind of just like some lettuce and tomatoes chopped up, but it was good. It was good. I mean, considering it was kind of like better mixed in with the rest of the meal I had, just like beans and rice, because I had enchiladas, but it came with like this little side salad. So there's that. And let's see, tonight, since it's already Sunday, I'm cooking, we're just having fish because we had heavy meals lately, but I have some carrots, like this carrot medley thing that I could do with that. And then on Monday night, we're having tikka masala, chicken tikka masala, but I like to put spinach in that one for sure, because it kind of just adds a little more to the meal. So excited about that. And I have tons of like mixed veggie, frozen veggie things in the freezer, so I'll incorporate some more of that as well. Okay. But you know, I think I got cut off when I first tried to film this, and even though I don't want to like talk about every single thing I did in the first time I tried to film before I realized things weren't going very well, I did want to still ask you guys about patterns. So in the video that I shot that didn't become, I asked you guys if you are pattern makers. Do any of you make your own patterns for knitting? And I was just thinking about how complex it seems, and I did watch a video on YouTube about somebody who was a pattern designer, but she didn't go into any real detail about how she actually creates the patterns. She just talked about kind of like thinking of her inspiration, writing things down, testing things out, but she didn't really say like how do you make it work? Like how do you know how many stitches to cast on? How do you know where to do increases and decreases and like attach things and make designs, and like where does that all come into play? And I was curious if any of you had made something like that where you designed your own pattern and either published it or just knitted on your own, and what that process was like. Because I thought about, you know, earlier in my knitting journey, I don't know if it's so much a journey anymore because I'm already doing it for a while, but my knitting adventures, I thought about making a shirt, and then I reached out to Very Pink Knits, and I emailed her because she has email contact, and I asked about if she could make a pattern for me, and she's actually opened me up to Ravelry, and I've been able to find lots of cool patterns there. But thinking of like, what is my own taste? What do I like to wear? Sometimes I haven't been so lucky to find something yet, but I know there's tons of stuff out there, and I probably just haven't been doing my filters the right way. And there are also, you know, a lot of pattern books I could probably buy that would have something in it too, and other knitting websites and resources that I could refer to. But what drawed me in was just the fact that if you knew something in your head was cute, how do you make it in real life? Like, I might want to try to visit that one day when I have a lot more experience knitting garments, because I haven't knit, besides the dog's life coats that I knit for my brother and my cousin's dog, I haven't made anything for human yet. And I do have a cardigan pattern that I bought that I want to use, and think maybe after that I can think about more garment patterns to try and decide, you know, if I want to try to do one myself, or maybe, you know, take some elements from all of the garments I've knit and design my own pattern or something like that. But then my other question with knitting and making your own patterns was, how do you know if your pattern isn't already in existence? Like, of course it could have a different name, but then, you know, anyone could think of, just like art, like anyone could have the same kind of idea, and I guess it's more about execution. But I've seen a million, you know, vanilla sock patterns, but I'm like, are these really your patterns? Like, you've posted this technique and this process, but who was the originator? Like, can you take credit for having a pattern and calling it what you want, even though it's the same pattern as somebody else? Like, I don't know about that. So I would hope you guys could weigh in on that question I have. But, ooh, yay, we're almost to the end, guys. I think we can do this in one shot. Well, two, considering what happened earlier, but one full round done. And yes. I'm thinking, so I have a couple other projects I'm working on right now, and depending on how things are going, you'll probably see that next weekend. There's a blanket that I'm working on for my partner's friend, a different one who's expecting in February, and I got started. I think I'm like 10 or 12 rows in right now, and I need 82 of this particular color block before I can move on to the next. But oh, what have I done? Done something. I don't know what I did. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. Maybe I'm just losing it. But anyway, I think by the time I film with that one, I'll be at a point where I can kind of commit it to memory, so I won't have to worry about messing up while I knit with you guys. But at the same time, knowing my history with things like this, I cannot make any promises. You won't see me chopping the video or crying or something because I messed something up. But I'm hoping that's not the case. And it's not the type of pattern where I could put stitch markers in to keep my place. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I can hear, you may have heard some clumping around earlier. My cats have been extra frisky today, and you missed a part of it earlier because Kabu was yowling at me because she's been so needy lately and wanting to be all up on me when I'm downstairs that as soon as I leave the area, she catches a toy and then wants to scream and holler so that I can come and look at it and congratulate her. And it was like yesterday around 5 in the morning another late night, early morning type of day where I went to bed way later than I should have, but she decided to catch something and scream and scream. My partner and I were like, just come in the room, we're just in here, the door's open, just come on in. Like, you don't need to do that. You don't need to yell. And she finally did come in, but I was kind of tempted to indulge her and just go downstairs and look at what she caught. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, if I get in the habit of getting up every time she catches something, then she'll think it's even more okay to start screaming at 5 in the morning. Just like you don't want to get up to feed them if they're screaming at you, because then they'll think it's okay to scream at you anytime they want food. And they do, but I have them on a schedule, so they're not doing that at 3 and 4 and 5 in the morning. But catching mice is a different story. And thank goodness they're fake. I was saying earlier, like, if she really did catch any mice, I would probably have a heart attack because I would be afraid. Okay, we're at this, so because my stitch marker broke and I started in a weird spot, I'm at another weird spot where I have to kind of do some magic to finish this round and start the next one. Even though it's not the part where I would do that, this is looking like a round 4 right now than around an end of a round 3, but I will do that, and maybe you guys will see this when it's done. I don't have that much left to do with it, but if so, I'll definitely pop up again with this project, but I'm thinking I can finish it when I'm on my journey to my book club next weekend, but we'll see. I still have another maybe 2 inches left before I can start my decrease round, but I do have my blanket that I want to work on too with you guys, so we'll probably see that one next. But with that, I'd like to say thanks so much again for coming and joining me this evening or morning or whatever time of day it is where you are, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.